too. Thank you. No one's here. There. Take your time. Thanks.
Jason, your prescription ends tomorrow. Ah, you had all this from 12 to the 15th.
So guys, to continue my, it's a nice day today. Look how beautiful it is. Nice and snowy. I always see those too, by the way. Those chemtrails. I know a lot of people do, but they start to come out when I come out for some reason. Like I first come out, I don't see them, then I see them everywhere. Look, there's 3 of them. Let me see if I can zoom in for you so you can see them. 4. One that was earlier, and now there's 3. Because they don't last long in the sky, they go away, right? Look how this guy got zigzagged. Watch. I don't know if you can really notice. There's one over there. One over there. One over there. So even if I look at the sky, I see it all lined up and ugly. It's not a nice, clear sky. And the constant, look at the constant cars around me. I'm being attacked with wolves here. Guys, I know this sounds funny, but you do. Someone's waiting for me in the bus stop. I can never get there and it's all empty. You know that from all my videos, everywhere I go. Sunday in a place where there should be nothing. All these stores are closed today on Sunday. The street, Kennedy, it's like a home furniture, electronics. They're not all closed, but most of them don't open today. You know, it's sort of like there's always someone around me talking on the phone or having a smoke because I'm going to have one. All this psychological warfare that sort of gets pushed. It's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So, because this entity has no emotion, how can it get its corpses to speak to you? How? Psychological warfare, physically standing in front of you and moving the whole time, not letting you see a nice clear surface so you can relax and nurture and feed your soul. If this happens to you here and there, no problem. But when it's around you everywhere you go, 365 days a year, where you can't spend 1 minute alone, or looking at a place without seeing anything moving. Well, here they can put people. What do? Look at the flags. And if there's no flags, trees and leaves, the wind comes in. It's the microchip, you know, it does that. I've proved it already, and it moves everything light around you. So even if it's 4 a.m., no cars or people around you, the flags will do the job. So as you notice, as I look, a pull out of the cigarette gets pulled. Look at those small details, guys. That's how it is when you wake up. You have to wake up to your surroundings and question what people are doing. Ask questions, how and how come and why. That's real wake up. Okay? No, you're not paranoid. You're just calculating a fake something that's happening around you. That's illogical. That has no reason to happen. Human beings don't like to waste their energy for nothing. They don't like to scream at each other or talk to each other in a loud voice when they're facing each other. Why? Who does that? It's illogical. You get it? So, this is how you get vampired, guys. Alright? Now, don't get too paranoid, but pay attention to your surrounding. This is how the street is supposed to be on a Sunday. You see a car come by every minute or 2 minutes, or a couple, maybe one person walking there, fine. So, you want to see the pack of wolves that's coming? Look far away. Look. If they come in a pack, you can see them all together. And you know what's funny? They're all driving the same speed. Every single car. Not because they're stuck behind each other, because it's a certain speed that annoys you. I've studied it. I've been awakened for a year and 2 months now. Most cars, if they go 80 to 90 clicks, really annoying. Feels like an attack. If they go 50 to 60, it won't feel like that. And birds, listen to the birds. Everywhere I go, the birds appear, start to tweet. Watch the Truman Show, the first scene. Listen to the background. All you hear is birds tweeting the whole time throughout the whole scene. Watch how the guy brings in the garbage bin. It's supposed to have a camera to film Truman. That's what I tell you. They clean everywhere to remind you of dirt. In my videos, the witch with the broomstick. Now you know why. Guys, the State's a long, long way back. This sort of thinking entity invasion. Thinking alien entity invasion. Not in service. The back one?
Next stop, Mudham Gate.
It's also the setting in the bus. You gotta look at those things. There isn't one area in it, whether it's the front or the back, always in every single one, where I could stand or sit and not see in the corner of my eye someone. It's designed that way. So even if I sit like this now in the corner of the right eye, you know what I see. And certain seats are empty right beside each other. All the others are full for you to sit there. Guys, it's mind-boggling. I know it's too schizophrenic and paranoid, but believe me, before I had the guts to admit this on video and make videos, I spent about 6 months really observing it to make sure. At first I thought I was going crazy, but then I started to look and calculate and look and look and look. Now, the thing is with this, for you to be strong enough not to get too obsessed with it, because if it pulls you in and you can't concentrate on nothing but that, you lose your mind. You won't be able to survive. So you have to learn. Listen, garbage everywhere. You have to learn this information. Take it into consideration. Know it. So in time, you'd automatically calculate. You won't have to ask questions. You go boom, 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 real, fake, and go back to your real life and forget about it. And just make sure now that you know what you're doing, you know who you live around, you know what's happening around you. So it's this constant big objects in front of you and constant objects or moving things, people or objects around you in the corner of your eyes. Things moving with you. Even though the plaza's empty. At the time the bus passes by, there's an exact truck moving with you. Those are the things. How does he know when you get there? The exact time to do it that exact way. Microchip, guys. It's the only way, alright? So, this really bad virus, what it did is, as you notice in the other bus stop, talking on the phone. On a Sunday, at the only time that I'm there, which is a mere couple of minutes, there is a guy there who's tall, huge, big objects, remember, talking on the phone and pacing back and forth. Every single action that I explain to you in my movies and tell you that every single person does it. Those are not normal things that every single person does when you look at them, guys. But that's what happens when you have a microchip in your eye. Now, I know this sounds really weird and schizophrenic, and believe me, if I was to search certain videos on YouTube, didn't know anything about this, and I'd bump into this one and watch it, I'd say this guy's nuts. But when you see one more video after the other, one after the other, one after the other, not listen to what I say, forget what I say. Just take it into consideration. You know what? Don't even take it into consideration. Just watch the video. You tell me what you think. You make your own decisions, your own conclusions out of it. And try to apply that to your environment. At least pay attention to your surroundings. That's real awakening, guys, in life. It's not some spiritual enlightenment by wearing a fuchsia colored long dress, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. Going to the top of a mountain, putting your palms together and going for about 10 hours. That's not awakening or enlightenment. That's relaxing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's really good for us, but that's not awakening. Real awakening and enlightenment is not knowing some certain information about what's the name of the person or what family rules the world or how they did it. No. That's really good information to know, and it's not a lie, it's true. But you gotta remember, it's not that person that's doing that, not from him. He's not an independent thinking entity. It's that all-seeing eye on top, which is an alien entity that took over the minds of these people. It's a virus in the air. It's not that it was just in the air and then it went away. No, it exists there, it still does. It lives in it, it's a part of it, it became a part of it. That pretty much through breathing, I guess, I don't know, that I'm not sure of how did that. And some of us stayed Trumans, I guess we're immune to it. We stayed our own thinking independent entity where we have a soul and emotion. We let our emotions decide what we're gonna do next. Not some big brain that taps into our heads and tells us what to do. Because if you could do that, then you feel nothing. If you felt something that couldn't work together, those two, no one can have your mind controlled if you do what you feel. Then you're independent. So when that exists, you become a one out of the million corpses out there who are controlled by the same brain, then you feel nothing. Then you become a corpse. Then that's the reason why they make all these movies for us. Now you understand out there. Zombies, vampires. It's not physical, guys. It's this entity trying to speak to you that way, covertly, through symbology, metaphorically, numerology, and examples, insinuating what it's doing to you. It's sort of, I don't know why that's done. It's not really rubbing it in your face. There's a reason for it. I think because if somebody tells you there's a microchip coming in the year 2040, you won't suspect that it was done 30 years ago. But if nothing was mentioned, you may say, oh, what if they did this to us? Let's find out. But because the news is telling you every day they're going to do it to us in 50 years, then you won't suspect. It's less highly, it's less, less highly, I guess the word. I forgot how to speak English, for God's sakes, to suspect it. You know what I mean? That's the reason why they do this to you. So it's this constant movement around you, trying to get close to you, whether it's arms or standing in front of you or whatever, that pretty much when you look at a sort of an empty bus that has no reason to do that, You know, it's not like packed. We're all stuck together. And I show you clips of all the other videos, how that moved, and over there that goes right beside me. It's done to me in almost every bus ride. Every bus ride. If it's done once in a while, it's fine. People want to hold on to this. But when it's done on every single bus ride, you tell me, what would you make of it then? So there's a fine line between when you see a lot of videos out there that tell you, a lot of them are, they're called the Truman Show delusion, that some people are deluded. Well, if you were a sneaky entity taking over mankind, and mankind wakes up and realizes that that's what's happening, how would you protect yourself? That's the first thing you'd do. Make fake videos, put him up, say he's delusional. Accuse him of being a drug addict. Accuse him of being schizophrenic. Accuse him of being hallucinating. Right? It's logical. Obviously, that would be your line, your point of defense. That's how you would defend yourself. You'd accuse that person of being insane so nobody would believe him. That's how truth is treated. You're either a monster or they pin things on you, or because the truth has to be ugly in days like these. It has to hurt. And it has to accuse the majority of people. If you take their side, then you want to make money off them. If you tell them the truth and it's ugly, then you're being honest. So you have to remember, you know what I mean? So as I'm looking, the bus is getting close. You have to walk towards the bus stop, but she was right there, play with her hair. Look at those small things, that those things could have been done at any time. Why did they have to be done at that particular moment you were looking there? These are the questions you should ask about your own environment and surroundings. Guys, the main reason why I make all these videos, why I have my YouTube channel, I don't make money out of it. I spend money on it. It takes up a lot of my time, and my time is precious. I could use it to make money and survive. Is to raise awareness to this. For certain people in the world that are going through this, in case they wake up, start to ask questions, they're confused, they want to be helped, they can get to those videos and learn the truth a lot faster than I did. I had to pay for it. Pain and torture for over a year. Things that you could pick up in a couple of months and improve your chances of survival. Then realize you're pinned alone. We have to search to meet others where they could be together, where we could regroup, because we've been divided and conquered this way, guys. Hundreds of years ago. This is not new. And technology did a huge number on us. Pretty much interconnected us and linked us all together. So it's easier for the feeding frenzy to happen. You know what I mean? It's easier for this entity to feed on you. This way. That's the main reason why it was done. Okay? Not to give us music through YouTube. Or to facilitate our lives as they tell you. Or to, you know... I mean, those things did happen because of it, but that wasn't the main intention. They have to offer you something. That's how this entity works. It offers you something that you think is amazing, but meanwhile, covertly, it took away from you the most important thing. If you want to annoy someone, your goal is to annoy them and to drive them crazy through noise and motion, then to lure them into it, you would want to offer them other things. You'd offer them food, shelter, clothes, fashion, sex, whatever. And as they're there, and they took those things from you, they got blinded to the truth, they're happy, they're all illusionized, then you would do that to them. They won't sense it, especially if it's done from the cradle to the grave. That's how we've been divided and conquered. The back one? So as you see, it's the second bus where I had to use the back one. Anything to make you work more, walk more, you know. Believe it or not, those small little details, someone standing where I usually stand over there till they take your spot. You know, the reason why they do that is not just to anger and piss you off. Like I said, this entity has to mimic every single little action that we do as humans for it to survive, because it has no emotion. If it doesn't do that, their species will die. Watch Dark City from 1998 with Kiefer Sutherland. They admitted through that movie what they're going through, those species, what they're doing to us. How all us human beings at midnight we go to sleep, we're all sleeping. Watch The Matrix, we're all in different tubes, sleeping. tubes into us, all separated in farms. Those tubes are not physical. They're emotional, psychological, spiritual. They're attacking every single sense we have, the five senses, to filter, siphon our soul right out of us by constant motion the whole time. But you have to ask the question, okay, you're sitting in the subway. As soon as you look to the right, every single person sitting there starts to move. They play with their hair, look at their watch, move their feet. Why is it that when you look there, ask those questions? Because if what's been done to me has been done to you, this is how you will wake up to it. Those are not normal actions. And sometimes I've been to places where I just appear at this. So look what happened there. Because he took my place, someone was standing in the front. The front machine's not working, the back one is. Most of the seats are taken. What am I gonna do? Stand here? Then they have a reason to come and do this in front of me. Motion and noise. You see how it works? You get it? Most times in the bus, look at my old videos. Not many people use their cards. Most of them use coins and transfers. With this one, you'll see mostly cards. But it has to be done sort of on a light scale for you not to notice it. The whole point is for you not to notice it, not to find it out. Watch the interview with RT Russia Today, and I think his name is Olsen, his last name. Magnus Olsen. How he admits he can microchip through the eyes, he can see through you. Why did I mention that? I forgot. I mentioned it for a reason for you guys. I don't know, I forgot, but anyways, you know, it's this constant thing in front of you. It's constant busyness around you, uncalled for. Constant running, constant motion, everything. See, you won't notice it at first, especially if you were born into it like me. But when you wake up, it starts to ask questions. It becomes illogical, uncalled for, no reason for it. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to tell you earlier. And since they see through your eyes, they know what you do, what you want to do, where you want to go. You know what I mean? So what I did in the last year and a half, I go to certain places sometimes quickly and get off at certain subway stations. And I recorded videos on that quickly and unsuspectingly. And I'd realized over there that there's nobody there. Empty, completely empty. Only the ones that I'm designed to go to are full with people. Empty, guys, empty, nothing. Then after 2 minutes, a guy appears smoking a cigarette in the corner. A bus arrives, people come out of the subway station to take the bus. You see? See how the card game works? So now when I move to the front, my way's blocked. It's all about getting as close as possible to you. Big objects, remember, those are the ones closest to you. And standing both. So another tactic is because I know they're talking. So because I like to stay in the front, right, all the time. Another reason is I stay on this side, somebody else stays on the other side, so that way everyone that's coming in will bump into you and make a tight passage. So it's these chips that are being laid in your environment, set up before you go in it, specifically designed to be an irritant, a torture, the whole platform. Look at my older videos. Study the environments I walk into, how they're set up. If I want to take the elevator, 5 are coming out from the right, but on the left, on the outside, 2 are waiting here, 1's in the middle, so I have to bump into or go through or get annoyed by 1 or 2. That's how it's set up. See, she walks over this way now as I'm walking back. She didn't walk earlier. You see, as soon as I started walking backwards, she walked forward and sat over there. She was standing right in front of me here the whole time. She could have went back and sat down earlier. Didn't have to do it at the time I walked back. So it's all designed for that. The whole platform, study it since I got into this bus. Study it closely. And you tell me at least, take into consideration the things that I'm telling you. Even if you think it doesn't prove it 100%. And no, one video doesn't prove it 100%. You gotta watch more. But I go through this every day, guys. And I have tons of videos on my channel. Those are the elements. That's how you can expose this. Human beings haven't been able to expose such a thing for hundreds of years because it's the microchip that brings all this close to you so you notice it. Otherwise you can't, you won't find out. How would you know? They look exactly like us, they talk exactly like us, they move exactly like us, everything's like us. The only thing is they're just colder. No emotion and no independent thinking, no independent mind. I would come out of the bus not because it's my stop, because I was ordered in my brain to do that. I would move my arm up and wear red today and mistreat that person, not because I felt like it, because a thinking entity took over my brain and its agenda is to do that. So what does that make me in the end? I'm not a human being anymore, I'm a corpse. With my brain controlled by a thinking virus that's pushing a certain agenda for its benefit. Not for me as a corpse or for the human I'm meeting. This is how you have to look at this. This is why you can't get angry at people when you get gang stalked. There's nothing there, guys. You have to remember that. Now, that's a fine line. I don't like to say things on my videos, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people watch them that oppose me. And they will want to do anything to me to hurt me or to put me in jail or to accuse me of certain things. You know, I'm the most peaceful guy, I'm sane. But that's not the point. When you're exposing something like this on such grand scale, an evil alien entity that controls the minds of millions of people, well, what's going to happen to you? All those people have high positions, and the highest in the world, believe it or not. Those aren't human beings, guys. I hate to give you this information yet, you're not ready for it, but I will in the next couple of months prove it to you. Don't believe a word I tell you. Look at the videos, I will prove it to you. I will prove every single thing I say. If I can't prove it, then I'll pull it back, I'll say I was wrong. I'm not insane, guys, okay? So, those videos are coming in the next 2 to 3 months to prove that to you. There's very few of us left in the world. There's not that many left anymore, you know? And we're struggling, we're divided and conquered, and we're separated geographically, really far away from each other. So we never contact each other. And we're being used as an engine, as a battery. Matrix, battery, engine. Watch what's that movie called? The Snowpiercer or something with Ed Harris too. Same actor of the Truman Show. You know what I mean? How there's life has died and there's only this train that's moving forward. They're using little kids to make the engine function in the front, and Ed Harris lives there because he's the microchip in your eye. That's how you can interpret it. Once you realize the truth, every single movie that gets out there, comedy, action, you name it, speaks to us in those ways. If you have any questions or comments and you think this is not true, send me a link to a movie that you've seen, any movie in the last 100 years, and I'll show you exactly how this is done. I will cipher and explain to you the whole movie. The intention of it, what it's doing to you, the indoctrination, the brainwash, what they want to make you believe. So if you watch a show like The Walking Dead, why do you think there's a lot of zombie and vampire and werewolf shows and movies? Okay, The Walking Dead. Popular, 10 years, 10 seasons. Started 2010, I think. What did I want to tell you about that show? I forgot. I wanted to mention something to you. That's why I mentioned that show. But if you watch that one, look at the world the way they painted. Look at it. That's not a painting, guys. You know, that movie is not, that show is not for entertainment. Well, it tells you it's for that. But they're telling you what they're doing to you, the real situation of the world today. Now, physically, it doesn't look that way, but emotionally, your soul, this is how it's supposed to be, because there's nothing alive around you. It's a masqueration of living. It's an act. It's an alien entity that took over us a long time ago that's mimicking what human beings would do in this machine built to put us both on the same grid. One Man and Truman, put them both on the same grid. Remember, one man's survival depends on mimicking Truman. You have to know everything he does, the smallest details, even what kind of socks he wears today, for survival reasons. So if you had that, what would be the most beneficial thing to do? That's why clocks were invented. That's why this grid was made, the design of the streets. It's all done for this purpose, to ease the mimicking process. for them to know what you're doing now. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Okay, if he's not around you, he wants to know what time you eat and what you're eating. What's the best thing to do? Create 3 meals in a day and call them breakfast, lunch, dinner. If he wants to know exactly at that time what you're doing, what's the best way to do it? Create clocks and watches so they'd know to the second what you're doing. Guys, I know this sounds really weird, trust me. If I heard this information from you last year, I'd tell you you're sick. You don't know what you're talking about, or you're fantasizing. I will prove this to you in the next 2 months, what I'm saying. Everything we have today that's been invented was by this entity to facilitate its feeding on us, to be able to mimic us more easily, more efficiently and effectively, to feed on us that way. It created a grid, an electrical grid, a machine to pin both of us, Truman and One-Man, together, where it's easier for One-Man to mimic Truman. Easier and easier as we move forward, feeding on Truman. To the point where we are today, there's barely any Trumans left, and the whole world is One-Man. So I made a small video for you guys. I said a small story about One-Man and Truman, which if I was a new visitor to my channel and I saw that video, I said, what the hell is this guy talking about? He's nuts. But the beauty of this, the more videos I'm gonna bring up in the next 2 months, when you watch the last video that's gonna come out in 2 months, you're gonna go back to that video, the small 5, 10, 15-minute video that sounds weird. It's gonna make every single sense in the world for you. This is the way I do things. So my channel is not about telling you information. It's about proving it in videos. But it's a lot of footage and it's a lot of hours. So for someone to wake up, they're not gonna sit there and watch every single video. And they need to do that in order to wake up. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna edit a lot of those videos, the important parts, and flavorize them by putting small clips from certain places out there to give you the idea, to make it more convincing. Not in terms of convincing you of something that's not true, but convincing you faster so you don't have to go through 100,000 hours of footage. I'll wrap it up in 3 hours. We really need to wake people up, guys, because they're suffering and they don't know why and how. Once they realize, they won't suffer anymore. And mankind is going to be extinct soon. I don't like to call it mankind. I will say humankind. It's going to be extinct soon, guys. Okay? We're the most beautiful creature on the planet. Yes, animals and insects and all these things also have the right to live. But don't tell me we're equal. We're not. We are on the top. Not in terms of eating them, but in our beauty, in our function. The way we treat each other, really treat each other, not the way they're trying to make us believe in those movies, which is bullshit. We're not like that. One-Man is like that. Truman is not like that. But One-Man is sneaky enough to convince Truman, when he looks at One-Man, that he's a Truman. That's how he was able to take over us. It's very hard to tell. Very hard. You have to really have a relationship with One-Man to realize that his conversations are not coming out for the benefit of that corpse or from its own mind. They're psychological warfare. And obviously street theater and events like these the whole time to distract you. And it gives function for corpses of One-Man to function. It gives them function. It's a big, huge machine. And it feeds on your belief. You have to believe that this is true in order for it to work. Remember, distractions with noise in important videos. On a Sunday, look what's coming out of the building. So if you do not believe this machine and you see it for what it is, a broken grid of hell, then it won't work for them. All the corpses of One-Man will have no function in the machine. You're the engine, guys. If you take out the engine, the whole car is frigging useless. But if the engine's there, then you'll have windows, locks, metal, glass, wipers. You get it? So nowadays, unfortunately, very few Trumans left in the world. They are the engines of a huge bus that employs every bus about 10,000 one-mans in order to run that bus. This is the truth of our world. Everything else they show you out there, astronauts and saucers and green things, guys, please. Other planets, please. The reason why they have a big brain, now you know why. Now you know why. They manifest them in a big brain. Look how many corpses it controls, one brain. That's why you see it with a big brain. That's why you see a cartoon about some crazy scientist with a weird shaped brain that's huge. That's why you see the witch with a broomstick. Because everywhere you go, they're cleaning and doing that. That's to make you miserable. Part of the brainwashing magical realm they want to put you in. Look at my old videos. Every single place I walk into, they're doing it as I walk in. McDonald's, the library, the courthouse, City Hall. Anyway, the subway. Sometimes they take the broomstick with them on the bus and stand right beside me. I want to give you the plain truth, straight up. I don't want to do it too fast, though. A lot of people are going to hate me, and I don't want people to alienate me and not come to the channel, not for my own good, but for their own. So I'm going to feed it to you gradually. I have tons of videos that I filmed in the last week. Some at hospitals, and I can't put them up yet. I put up a video back in the days about Sunnybrook Hospital. Now they're banning me from going in there. Merely for filming what I was experiencing in front of me, right? How you doing, boss? All right. Going down, up?
Down, down, down.
I'm so sorry.
What are you doing, man? I got
Take care. Have a nice day. She's late for work. It's Sunday at noon. That's the working hours, right? Well, 10 to 1. An older lady at 60-something years old. But that doesn't mean anything, believe it or not. Even seniors work nowadays. It's not a bad thing. As long as we have good function, guys. Not bad function. That's what matters. It doesn't matter if you're small people, gay, black, orange, freak, I don't know, German, Italian, gender, transsexual, male, female, tall, short, kid, old. That's not how we are divided. That's this entity making us believe so, to really divide us from what we are. Trumans and one-mans. All right? This is the real division. And they tell you that straight up through the movies. Every single movie, they tell you that. You seen the movie Signs with Mel Gibson? M. Night Shyamalan movie, 1990-something, 2000, I don't know, 2001. The crop circles. But not in the way they tell you. You have to be able to understand it. It's an insinuation. How can you do that? You have to wake up to your surroundings, start to calculate. Slowly but surely you will get to the point that I got to. What I'm telling you right now. I want to speed up that process for you guys instead of, in case you wake up. There's no time. We have to regroup as human beings. Have nothing to do with this entity and the grid. Just go live on our own lives as long as we're together. Pushing forward the humankind in a peaceful way. Helping each other. We live in a torture grid, guys. It's designed specifically that way. You know why no smoking signs everywhere? Do you know why? Do you know why in the 50s we were allowed to smoke anywhere? Even doctors smoked in front of babies inside the hospital. And now they can't? How come? Oh, we got more civilized, smarter. We realized it's bad for you, so we stopped it. Please. They didn't know it was bad for them at the beginning? Sure they did. Guys, the whole grid is designed to annoy you, make you feel tight. Seat belts in the car, they don't really help you that much. Make you feel uncomfortable. You can't do this here, you can't do that there. Constant messages on your phone, constant irritations on the internet, windows opening the whole time. They've created a huge machine of annoyment and irritation. That's how they siphon your soul, annoying you, because it's a lot of them. They don't have to punch you. But if every single one of them annoys you a tiny bit and 10,000 of them are around you every day, what would happen to you? That's how they're doing it, guys. By annoying us. This whole machine was built that way. That's the whole point of it. Is to keep you irritated and annoyed, deprived. You know what the tactic is? Look at what happened to the world in the last 100 years. They introduce a drug. First, we don't want it. They entice it. Remember the commercials in the 30s about cigarettes and 60s, the cool guys, the doctor. Entice, encourage people to get into it. Addict them to it. Once they get addicted to it, deprive them from it, as they're doing now. Oh, cigarettes are bad. People will spit on you on the street if you smoke a cigarette. You know what I mean. Deprive, and then, once they're completely deprived, tease them with it over and over again. So study your life, if anyone's ever done that to you. This is not how human nature is, guys. There's an evil entity working behind the scenes to do that to you. This is how you rip a man's soul right out of him, or a woman, or whatever, a human. You entice them into something they don't want in the first place. And it all has to do with the physical realm, addictions, bondage. You entice them, you addict them. That's the machine, that's how it functions. That's a huge tactic they're using on us to dismantle us, make us weak, on top of all the brainwash. Right? There are 4 stages. They do that with sex, drugs, food, clothes, money, houses, you name it. Every single thing that human heart desires in the physical realm, physical pleasures. Introduce, let them know about it. Entice them to get into it. Addict them to it. After they're fully addicted, deprive them from it, then constantly tease them with it over and over again. It's pure destruction. It's brutal. I'll leave you guys there today. I'll be in touch. November 17th, Sunday, 1 p.m., 2019. See you guys later. I'm home.